Plymouth tonight, -2 degrees Celsius. Cornwall, colder than the Scottish Highlands. Is your area about to face the most dramatic temperature swing we've ever seen this November? Right now, the Met Office has amber warnings across 17 counties affecting nearly 8 million people. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly when this Arctic blast arrives in your specific location, which models are disagreeing about the weekend, and the one detail that could change everything for Monday morning's commute. Drop your city or county in the comments right now, and I'll give you a personalised forecast in tomorrow's update. Let me give you the timing straight away. London, the cold air arrives Thursday evening around 8 o'clock, temperatures dropping to 3 degrees by Friday morning. Manchester, you are looking at the change slightly earlier, around 6 o'clock Thursday evening, down to 1 degree overnight. Birmingham, similar timing to Manchester, expect 2 degrees Friday morning. Glasgow, you're already feeling it, currently 5 degrees, dropping to -1 tonight. Cardiff, the transition happens late Thursday, around 10 o'clock, falling to 2 degrees. Belfast, you are in the crosshairs earliest. The Arctic air moves in Thursday afternoon, down to 0 degrees by evening. Now here's where this gets interesting. We are not just talking about a straightforward cold snap. The Met Office Unified model and the European model are showing two very different scenarios for the weekend, and that 50-kilometre difference matters enormously if you are anywhere from Kent up through East Anglia into Lincolnshire. Currently, there is a massive area of high pressure sitting over Scandinavia, dragging air directly from the Arctic down across the North Sea. This isn't your typical autumnal chill. We are talking about an air mass that was over the polar ice cap 3 days ago. Newcastle, you are looking at 7 degrees today, 4 tomorrow, potentially 1 degree by Saturday morning. Sunderland, dropping from 8 degrees currently to 2 degrees Saturday. Durham, you are particularly exposed to this northeasterly flow. Expect 3 degrees Friday, 1 degree Saturday. Edinburgh, you are currently sitting at 6 degrees, and here is what concerns me most. It is not just the temperature, it is the wind chill. With northeasterly winds gusting to 60 kilometers per hour, it is going to feel more like -3 degrees. Aberdeen, currently 4 degrees, feeling like -1. Inverness, slightly more sheltered, 5 degrees now, dropping to 2 degrees Friday, but wait until you see what S coming for the southwest. Plymouth, as I mentioned, -2 tonight. Exeter, -1. Penzance, usually the mildest spot in the country, you are looking at 1 degree Friday morning. This is the coldest November night in Cornwall since 1987. Truro, 0 degrees. The Isles of Scilly, normally protected by that maritime influence, even you are down to 3 degrees. Right then, let's talk about the Midlands. Nottingham, currently 9 degrees, a sharp drop to 3 degrees Thursday night. Leicester, from 8 degrees to 2 degrees. Derby, 1 degree Friday morning. Coventry, 2 degrees. Stratford-upon-Avon, 2 degrees. Warwick, 1 degree. Now, here's the one thing nobody is talking about yet. There is still considerable uncertainty about whether we see precipitation with this cold air. The Met Office model is showing a weak weather front pushing in from the North Sea on Friday afternoon, bringing rain to eastern areas. But the European model suggests that front could be strong enough to bring snow, particularly over higher ground from Yorkshire northwards. Leeds, this matters for you. If the Met Office model is correct, you are looking at rain Friday afternoon, temperatures around 3 degrees. If the European model verifies, we could be talking about wet snow potentially accumulating over the Pennines. Bradford, same situation. Sheffield, positioned on the edge of the Peak District, you could see anything from rain to sleet to snow above 200 metres elevation. Liverpool, you are somewhat shielded from this uncertainty. Currently 8 degrees, dropping to 4 degrees Friday, but precipitation looks less likely. The Wirral, similar forecast. Chester, 4 degrees Friday. I know this isn't ideal for anyone with weekend plans. York, currently 7 degrees, dropping to 2 degrees Friday. The models diverge on whether you see any precipitation. Harrogate, 1 degree Friday morning, potential for wintry showers. Scarborough, right on that North Sea coast, 4 degrees, but feeling significantly colder with the wind. For those of you in Lancashire, Preston, you are looking at 4 degrees Friday, 3 degrees Saturday. Lancaster, 3 degrees Friday. And this is where the Lake District comes into play. Kendal, 2 degrees, with the potential for snow showers over the higher fells. The Lake District peaks could see 5 to 10 centimetres of snow if the European model scenario plays out. Now then, let's move to Wales. Swansea, currently 9 degrees, dropping sharply Thursday night to 3 degrees. Brecon, you are inland and elevated, expect 1 degree Friday morning. Bangor in North Wales, 4 degrees Friday, but watch for wintry showers coming off the Irish Sea. Snowdonia, above 500 metres, we could be talking about proper snow accumulation, potentially 15 centimetres if conditions align. Southampton on the south coast, you are looking at 5 degrees Friday. Portsmouth, similar forecast. Brighton, 6 degrees, benefiting slightly from that maritime influence. Bournemouth, 5 degrees. But here's what you need to understand about coastal areas during Arctic outbreaks. The sea temperature is still around 12 degrees, so you want to see the extreme lows that inland areas experience, but you'll have that biting wind straight off the water. Actually, let me clarify something about the wind. The Met Office is forecasting gusts, particularly along the east coast from Kent up to Aberdeenshire, of 70 to 80 kilometres per hour. Dover, you are particularly exposed. Folkestone, same situation. Bristol, moving back inland, you are looking at 4 degrees Friday morning. Bath, 3 degrees, sheltered in that valley. Gloucester, 2 degrees. The Cotswolds, exposed rural areas, could see 1 degree or even 0 degrees in sheltered spots Friday morning. Cambridge, here, S, where the model disagreement really matters. The Met Office has you at 4 degrees Friday with rain developing afternoon. The European model suggests 3 degrees with sleet or wet snow. Oxford, similar uncertainty. Milton Keynes, you were in that transition zone, 4 degrees, precipitation type uncertain. Let me address Northern Ireland because you are getting hit earliest. Derry, currently 6 degrees, dropping to 1 degree Thursday night. Armagh, 2 degrees Friday morning. The Mourne Mountains could see significant snow above 400 metres. Lisburn, 2 degrees. Bangor in County Down, 3 degrees, but feeling much colder with that wind off the Irish Sea. Reading, you're looking at 5 degrees Friday morning. Windsor, 4 degrees. The Thames Valley, generally 5 to 6 degrees, but that is still a dramatic drop from the 11 degrees you are experiencing currently. Hang on, let me check the latest model runs for Scotland again. Glasgow, I mentioned earlier, URE at 5 degrees currently. The overnight models are now suggesting 3 degrees Friday morning, not the 1 degree I initially thought. That's actually slightly better news. Stirling, 2 degrees. Perth, 1 degree. Dundee, 3 degrees. Actually, I should be more precise about the weekend. Saturday, most areas stay cold. London, 4 degrees. Manchester, 2 degrees. Birmingham, 3 degrees. But there's a developing area of low pressure in the Atlantic that could approach from the west Sunday or Monday. If it tracks north of Scotland, we stay cold and dry. If it comes further south, we re-looking at a potential significant rain event, possibly snow on the northern edge. Cardiff, for your weekend, Saturday 4 degrees, Sunday potentially 6 degrees if that Atlantic system arrives. Edinburgh, Saturday 2 degrees, Sunday you are on the northern edge of any precipitation, could see snow mixing with rain. Let me give you some specifics for eastern England. Ipswich, 4 degrees Friday, uncertain precipitation. Norwich, 3 degrees Friday. Great Yarmouth, 4 degrees, very windy conditions. Peterborough, 3 degrees Friday. Lincoln, 2 degrees, potential for wintry showers. Stoke-on-Trent, you are looking at 2 degrees Friday morning. Wolverhampton, 3 degrees. The Black Country, generally 2 to 3 degrees Friday. There's one location that could see something quite unexpected, and that S, the Channel Islands. Jersey and Guernsey, you are normally the mildest spots in British waters, but this Arctic outbreak is so extensive that even you are dropping to 5 degrees Friday. That S, remarkably cold for the Channel Islands in November. For the Scottish Islands, Orkney, you are looking at 4 degrees Friday, very windy with wintry showers. Shetland, 5 degrees, similar conditions. The Outer Hebrides, 4 degrees, frequent showers. Now, the thing that concerns me most isn't actually the cold itself. Britain-S infrastructure can generally cope with cold, dry conditions. It the possibility of precipitation on Friday that changes everything. If we do see that weather front bring moisture in and temperatures are marginal, we are talking about potential disruption to transport. Rail services, particularly on the East Coast main line, could face delays if we get any snow settling on the tracks. The M1, M62 and A1 could all see difficult conditions. Do check back tomorrow because we'll have much clearer model agreement by then. The 6 o'clock runs this evening should resolve whether that North Sea front is going to be a factor or not. I'll have specific detail for every major route and transport hub. Let me give you a bit of hope though, because this isn't all doom and gloom. If you are someone who enjoys crisp, clear autumn days, and we avoid that precipitation, Saturday could actually be rather beautiful. Bright sunshine, cold certainly, but those clear Arctic skies produce spectacular conditions. The Scottish Highlands could be absolutely stunning. There is still some uncertainty about next week, and this is important. The jet stream pattern is unusual. We've got that Scandinavian high pressure refusing to budge, but there are signals that it might retrogress westwards early next week. If it does, we could see a complete pattern flip, with milder Atlantic air returning. London, you could go from 4 degrees Saturday to 11 degrees Tuesday, but if that high pressure stays put, we remain stuck in this cold Arctic flow. Unfortunately for Scotland, you are most likely to stay coldest longest. Edinburgh, even if we see a pattern change, you are probably looking at single-digit temperatures through early next week. This is rather unusual for November. Normally, we see Atlantic systems dominating mild and wet conditions. This blocking pattern with high pressure over Scandinavia is more typical of late winter or early spring. The Met Office ensemble forecast shows a 60% probability of below average temperatures continuing through the first week of December. Right, let me address impacts. For agriculture, this cold snap comes at a difficult time. Farmers in East Anglia, the Fens and Lincolnshire need to be aware of potential hard frosts Friday and Saturday morning. Market gardeners, particularly in Kent and Lincolnshire, -1 or -2 degrees is definitely frost territory. For those planning to travel this weekend, Friday looks like the day to avoid if possible. Saturday and Sunday, roads should be fine in most areas, just cold. But Monday, if that Atlantic system develops, could bring a messy commute with rain spreading east. There's one detail that could change everything for Monday morning-esque commute, and it depends entirely on the track of that developing Atlantic low. If it comes through the English Channel, southern England sees heavy rain, potentially 20 to 30 millimetres, with strong winds. If it tracks across central England, Manchester, Birmingham, and the Midlands, get the worst of the rain and wind. If it goes north of Scotland, we all stay dry, but cold. Tomorrow's update will have model consensus on this. Hull, 3 degrees Friday, potential for wintry showers off the North Sea. Grimsby, 4 degrees, similar conditions. Scunthorpe, 2 degrees Friday morning. Let me clarify the snow situation one more time. For the vast majority of locations below 200 metres elevation, snow is unlikely. We might see sleet mixing with rain in eastern areas Friday if that front develops, but accumulating snow is really only a prospect for higher ground. The Pennines above 300 metres, yes, possibly 5 to 10 centimetres. The Lake District above 400 metres, similar amounts. Snowdonia above 500 metres, 10 to 15 centimetres potentially. The Scottish Highlands above 400 metres, 15 to 20 centimetres in the heaviest showers. Middlesbrough, 3 degrees Friday, blustery showers. Darlington, 2 degrees Friday morning. Hartlepool, 4 degrees, feeling much colder with wind chill. For early next week, Monday could go two ways. If that Atlantic system develops, we are looking at widespread rain. London, 8 degrees with rain. Manchester, 7 degrees, rain spreading in. Birmingham, 7 degrees. Cardiff, 9 degrees. Glasgow, 5 degrees. Rain and sleet possible. Belfast, 8 degrees, wet and windy. But if the low pressure stays south, Monday stays dry but cold across most areas. I'll have that sorted tomorrow morning. Drop your location in the comments and I'll give you a personalised Monday commute forecast. Here's what you need to understand about this pattern. We've gone from a very mild autumn to this sudden Arctic plunge. Your body isn't acclimatized to these temperatures yet. 4 or 5 degrees in November feels colder than 4 or 5 degrees in February. So please take extra care with vulnerable neighbors, make sure heating systems are working, and don't underestimate how cold it will feel. The Cairngorms above 800 meters could see 30 to 40 centimeters of snow this weekend. If you are planning any hill walking, conditions will be proper winter mountaineering, full winter kit required. And finally, let me tell you exactly what to watch for in tomorrow's forecast. The critical model runs are tonight at 6 o'clock and midnight. By tomorrow morning, we'll know definitively whether Friday brings precipitation to eastern areas, and more importantly, we'll have clarity on that Monday system. I'll have specific timing for rain arrival in your location, detailed road and rail impact forecasts, and a proper 5-day outlook through next weekend. The next video will be up tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. We'll go through every region in detail. I'll answer as many of your location-specific questions as possible from the comments, and I'll show you exactly what the model comparison looks like for Monday. I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and if you found this helpful, let me know your location below. The more specific you are with your town or village, the more detailed I can be with tomorrow's forecast. There are some really interesting developments possible for next weekend, particularly for Scotland and Northern England, but I need to see another 24 hours of model data before I can give you confident timing on that. Stay warm, drive carefully if you're out Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with that update.